Hello, everyone. I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to attend this brief webinar on our new NetBackup storage lifecycle policies. What you'll see here is a quick agenda. We've got a welcome, just give you highlights of Bocada's history, talk about the data protection and service management model that we came out and invented. We'll also talk about the solution architecture Prism, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the solution from Bocada, and then take a look at a quick demo of our storage lifecycles, and then give you a view of some case studies that we did for customers that utilize our products. And unfortunately, we won't have a question and answer session due to the length of this recording and webinar, but we will have a way for you to get your questions answered. So from the overview perspective, for those of you who are unfamiliar with Bocada as a company, we really are the first to market with a actual protection management software solution that really focuses on guiding you through a systematic approach to looking at your data protection environment. We do have a large install base, which means we stretch into all types of verticals, and we have numerous Fortune 500 customers that utilize our product today to help solve the needs that they had problems with the built-in reporting or solutions that they use natively. From a data protection service management function, we really target those customers that have a IT service delivery mentality, meaning that your users are the ones that drive what's required in your environment, and you want to make sure that users' resources are protected and available for restore, or if there are issues in the environment, you are aware of them and deal with them appropriately. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with the DPSM process, what is it? It is ITSM-like because it really focuses on improving data protection operations, focused on business objectives and customer satisfaction goals. And realistically, we looked at what do you as an administrator deal with, and how do you have your environment protected? And we looked at that and come up with information based on customers' best practices. So from a benefits perspective, businesses, it helps you really reduce risk and also align to your business requirements that may be driven by upper management. Also, for those of you who may be MSPs, give you that customer retention and new customer acquisitions that you need by providing them a solution to peer into their environment and make sure that you are indeed protecting the resources that they require from you. Operational and financial, being able to see if you're doing multiple types of data backups for the same client, so that one, you can eliminate reduction in data protection, but also from a compliance perspective, being able to report out that you are indeed backing up those key resources on the intervals that are mandated by, let's say, the SEC. So this is what pretty much the data protection service management process is. So when you look at the process from end to end, it is a multi-staged approach where we take you from a health check, getting an idea of what's going on in your environment, how are your assets being protected, if there's any problems, looking at capacity usage. Then we jump over to policy management, giving you a full list of everything that's being protected and how they're configured, so you can definitely identify redundancies, which ultimately cause you to do duplications of data and expand the retention rate and the storage that's required. Then if you utilize SLA management, being able to confirm that you are indeed protecting those resources at a 100% success rate. And if you're using chargebacks, you can utilize chargeback procedures and profits to assign to certain resources to make sure that, yes, if you are taking on new data, that data does come with a cost associated with it, and being able to give upper management a reason why you're requesting new resources to protect those new servers or new sites. Then you look at change in audit management. When you talk to administrators like I do, sometimes they'll be like, everything was working fine for 5 days, and now suddenly jobs are failed. Well, if you have this tool in place, you can see if there's been changes to policies, and then what those changes did and how they impacted the environment, and then you can make that correction rather quickly. And then ultimately, if you've gone through these 4 stages, the 5th stage is operational excellence. You've got a great grasp of what your environment looks like, how it's performing. If there are issues, you're addressing them. You're using the knowledge base to help train individuals on how to deal with certain errors. And ultimately, you're passing audits and you're reducing downtime and risk because you're focused and you see those errors as they come. So ultimately, with this demo, we're going to really focus on is the policy management piece. Evaluating those existing policies. Do they really aligned, and are they configured with the goals that you have in mind? Are there more than one policy configured for the same client doing the same type of data backup? Being able to track those policies if they're changing, and also make sure that you do have the proper retention rates set for that data source that needs to be protected for, let's say, 7 years. Real quick, I want to touch on how Bocada was developed. We're really focused on the customer, and you'll see this throughout the product that customers' input has been, has really driven this product. So what we do is, customers are always talking to us about they need to make sure that their backup is reliable and they're getting successes where they're supposed to, and if there's failures, they can identify what those failures are. If there are unprotected data risks, what are they, and what do I need to do to rectify that problem? Being able to approve backup SLAs when they're in place so that you can give upper management the success rates that they want and prove indeed that you are backing up those assets. Being able to see visibly what the backup landscape looks like. So not just looking at one server, one site, but being able to see all sites, all locations under one umbrella. And then recovery reliability. When I do restores, where do they go? How successful are they? When I do fail, what are those errors? And how to rectify that problem? So from a solution perspective, Bocada Prism was developed on this principles, and so when you look at the product and during the demo, you'll see that we structured it based on that DPSM model. So you do have a health check, policy management, SLA management, problem management, audit and change, and capacity. And one of the main things that drives this product to be successful as it is that we really focused on those features that customers want to have in their environment. And the key one that we constantly hear is that it needs to be agentless. I have multiple sites, I've got thousands upon thousands of servers, and I can't really afford to install agents on every one of my machines to get this product to work. But with Prism, you don't have to worry about that. You have a workflow, so you're not just looking at a whole bunch of reports and errors and not knowing how to really tailor the troubleshooting process. We do that for you. We have change configuration and integrated knowledge base and workflows so that if you do have problems and you want to take notes on how you resolve those problems, you have that ability. And so it's no longer just sending emails out or writing things on sticky notes and losing how you resolve, let's say, a 96 error. When that error comes up, you use the knowledge base, you type in the notes that you worked with support on, and boom, now that information follows the client for as long as it's being protected. We have role-based security, so you can have roles and responsibilities using Active Directory. And platform modularity and an open interface really give us the cutting-edge approach to this data protection management because, one, if you want to use a particular module, all you have to do is enable that, and if it doesn't apply to your environment, you don't have to use that particular module. And an open interface allows us to, one, update and apply new features and functionality, but also to tie into third-party solutions such as ticketing systems or emailing systems and things like that so that you can take the information that Prism is gathering and put it into a resource that you may have internally that helps you do your business a little more effectively. Real quick, here's the Prism architecture. When you look at Bocada Prism, there's three pieces to it. We have a data collector service that actually goes out and talks to the backup servers in the infrastructure. And because we're dealing with an environment where there may be multiple backup products, that one data collector can talk to a TSM server, a NetBackup server, a backup exec, a pure disk server, network or Avamar, or an ArcServe, or Microsoft Data Protection Manager, or SyncSort, or Commvault. Whatever the combination that you may have in your environment, our collector service can do this in an agentless fashion. By collecting to the master servers, we see the landscape. So we know that you got email servers that are being protected, applications, file servers, and databases. So that collector takes that data, puts into a SQL 2005 or 2008 database, and using IIS, we present that to you in a web interface that allows you to manage, but also to send out information to your customers or managers as far as whatever the requirement is. By utilizing the web interface for management, we have that flexibility to present the data to whoever you need to in your environment. So what I'll do real quick here is I'll pause and jump into the demo of our storage lifecycle. What we have here is our Bocada Prism. As you can see, it's using a web link to bring up the main interface. And what you didn't see is that when I actually bring up put in this web interface, it does prompt me for authentication. Now that I've authenticated using my Active Directory, I can see right at the front in the dashboard what's going on under the health check module. So in this case, I can see that in the last 24 hours, I've had some failures. And what's nice about the way we do this is that when you want to find out what's going on in the environment, all you have to do is hover over it. So in this case, you can quickly see that you ran 43 jobs failed last night, which is equal to 43% of the failures. If you hover over the green portion of the pie, that's 36 jobs or 33% success rate, and you've got 20 jobs or 20.2% that were partially successful. Right-hand side gives you the restores, and this is our lab environment, so we don't do a great deal of restores, but hopefully if you had this product and you installed it, and from the data that we gathered, you would quickly be able to see that, one, this pie should be more green than red, and if you're doing restores quite frequently, you should see more green than red also here. Now about this interface, it's definitely, you can customize it to see whatever you need to, and you have these additional features like exporting, scheduling emails on an ad hoc basis, or scheduling them to be sent every day to certain administrators. And so this flexibility that extends down into Prism for you also extends into the reporting. So you can quickly come in and change the criteria, increase the date range to see more data for more servers, or maybe you just want to focus on a particular backup product or a particular backup policy. So once I hit OK here, then I'll be able to drill down into further health check reporting, such as job trends, being able to see how my backup jobs are trending over the last 24 hours for all the servers in the infrastructure. Because this is our lab servers, we're currently collecting against quite a few different products. We've got some backup exec, some Microsoft DPM, some NetBackup, some TSM. What's nice the way we do this is that when you highlight the server in question, at the very bottom we'll show you the clients that are being protected by that server and how those jobs performed. So for example, when we talk about SLA management, if I was looking at the summary report and I wanted to see what jobs actually failed, if I had an SLA in place, I would instantly be alerted that, hey, of those 42 jobs that failed, there are certain jobs that are being monitored by an SLA that has to be met. And therefore, I want to know exactly what happened in that infrastructure. So when it comes up, it immediately tells me that there is a SLA profile that's being adhered to, that there's some failures that it's definitely impacting the percentage of successes. So I'll hit OK. And then from the very top, I'll quickly jump down and look at the SLA impacts report to find out truly what happened last night that has impacted some backup jobs. Here I can quickly see the server, backup server, the client in question, and the asset, meaning what was I backing up on the server. So in failures, I was backing up some individual shares or all local drives, partial jobs that were partially successful. You know, I'm backing up some particular volumes, indexes, things like that, and the reason why this SLA was triggered. In this case, I failed the any active backup job needs to be successful rule. And in this case, the same thing here because this was a partial job. So what I'll quickly do here now is jump into the policy portion. As you can see, we focus on policies from TSM and NetBackup. So from NetBackup configuration, I can quickly tell you what's going on in the environment as far as what servers have what storage devices attached to them, what type of policies are configured, is the policy active, what policies have max jobs per schedule configured and what the number is, what are the schedules assigned to those servers, and what clients are being protected. So if I wanted to see some duplications or make sure that I indeed do not back up multiple machines in the same policy, I maybe focus on a policy name. So in this case, I can just look at every policy that's in my environment and then just make sure that that policy only protects one individual resource. So by grouping against various different columns, I can find whatever information I need about in my NetBackup environment. So if I want to see all policies of type, let's say MS Windows NT, which are your standard Microsoft policy, I can expand that and then look at to make sure that indeed what servers have what policies and the clients that are being protected by them.